That's a hot take.
Swinging around American flag, because that's what America's supposed to be. It's supposed to look like permanently chill.
The insurance commercial has a fat ass, but like no personality.
Yeah, I feel like sitting here and listening to this.
No, god damn it. Isaac, New Noise is not the first fucking refused album.
Rip Isaac a new one today. Do you know what I mean? Like...
Don't touch my records. Ever.
So I've learned to just have my phone nearby so I can just connect to the hotspot really quick in case that happens.
We're live, buddy.
We're live? Oh, hello. Hi. Welcome to Hot Takes, the Vaporwave talk show where all takes are accepted so long as they are kind and thoughtful. Thank you for joining us. This is a talk show where we discuss music, we discuss ideas, we discuss thoughts. We bring on one of our friends to talk to us and help move the flow of conversation along. We try to come up with a different way of approaching the way we view art and the way we view each other. And, we don't like to punch down on here, but of course, we do like to keep things open, and we do like to keep things non-judgmental, and we like to maybe elucidate some truths during the process. My name is Skeleton Lipstick, and with me is Young Shiro, the co-host, and we're happy to have you here, and we're very, very happy to have our very, very, very cool guest, PJ Rourke. They are an artist. They both visually and musically. And they are just a phenomenal all-around person, and they are actually the author of some games, and just somebody who I would refer to them as a multimedia artist. And we really wanted to get somebody in the show that we really appreciate and admire, that isn't just doing music, but also has a very strong hand in the visual world as well. We want to kind of get some people from that world in as well. And what better person than PJ Rourke? So, thank you for joining us.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Skelly.
I don't usually do the intros, so that was a thing for me. I'm let's try and do this. Isaac is always so good with it, and he just makes it flow so well. He's like, welcome to Hot Takes, the show where, and he's so good at it, and I kind of
God.
I'm that's hard. I don't know how he does it. This is hard. Good,
come on, man.
Kudos to you.
You did it beautifully. I would just like to remind everybody, if our audio levels are off, if the music is too loud, if Chris is too quiet, if PJ is too quiet, etc. Yes, I know I need a pop filter, but other than that, just keep us in the loop about the audio levels and the visuals. Just like to remind everybody that if you like Hot Takes, it doesn't hurt to share on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Just ask your friends to tune in. And then, of course...
Exactly. Also, the art behind us right now, the visual representation of Isaac and myself is, of course, also by PJ Rourke.
By our loving, wonderful, excitable guest. And then at the end of the day, of course, if you feel led to, if the spirit moves you, as Chris would say, hit that exclamation point, donate. Thank you, Lux, for posting that. If you want to, you can follow the link, and you can slide a little donation our way. All donations go towards show upgrades and commissioning your friends for art, like PJ and B and other people. And so a little word on that. I fully funded a run of Hot Takes stickers thanks to you guys. So if you see me at Electronicon, New York, hit me up for a free Hot Takes sticker. Donations are optional. You guys paid for that. Thank you. Last but not least, we got an updated Hot Takes Spotify playlist. I'm going to drop that link featuring some new favorites, courtesy of both Skelly and myself. Check them out. And if you put any emojis in the chat, they will show up on the screen, but with a little emote wall. So you can light up those emojis whenever we have an opinion, whether you like it or you dislike it. Let everybody know what you think with some emojis. I'm going to go ahead and roll into the recommendations for tonight. I've got 3 hot ones for y'all before we go to the hot take section. All of the artists that I want to recommend tonight start with the letter A, so that's fun. This episode is brought to you by the letter A. First artist is probably one of the most prolific and multifaceted artists I've ever heard, and they go by A Walk in the Woods, but they shorten it to AWITW. A Walk in the Woods is a fellow from France that can make like anything. He's got Vapor Trap albums. He has Outrun Synthwave albums. He has a Lo-Fi House EP, at least one. He's extremely multifaceted, and he does it all really well. So I want to recommend his Vapor Trap album, and it's called Natural History. If you're a fan,
that's a really good album.
Okay, you've heard it. Great. If you're a fan of Blank, it's not really so much Blank Banshee, more like, you know, the tamer stuff like Taspo, Eventual Infinity, you know, so old vape era. Check out Natural History, and then check out the rest of his discography. Can be kind of daunting, but I'm telling you, he does it all, and he does it all really well. Lux, really impressive. She got the link right after I posted it. Next recommendation is courtesy of a very recent guest of ours, one Aurograph. If you haven't heard, I'm going to botch this title, Metamerism or Metamerism. Perhaps you know, Chris.
No, you're right. Metamerism. You're correct.
You're the one with the vocabulary. So it's 2021, I believe. I would say it's the one with the face on it, but that's all of them.
You don't remember your chemistry? Metamerism?
No, I surely don't. Thanks for the link, Lux. Impressive. Everything Autograph puts out is so good, device operator. You are correct. So if you like lo-fi house or you like MIDI wave stuff, why not put it together? And if you want to hear some more of like the darker, kind of dark wave side of Autograph, check out Metamerism.
Shout out
great
Autograph.
For fans. Shout out Autograph. One of the nicest people ever.
Supposed to come down here to Philadelphia and help me organize my synths.
I'll be opening for Autograph in late August in Lexington and in Nashville, so very excited about that. Check out Metamerism if you like FM Skyline, DJ Sabrina the Teenage DJ, or eyeliner, but like darker eyeliner. And then finally, if you're not familiar with my rabid, rampant love of lo-fi house, then I'm sorry. I'm going to have to light that up again with another recommendation by Akasha System, otherwise known as, I believe it was Opaline, I think, or something like that. Akasha System used to run a record label called Per Tapes back in Chris and my heyday.
Oh, Per Tapes?
You didn't know that? Akasha System was part of the people that ran Per Tapes.
Per Tapes. I think they initially put out Mark Rodito's.
They did
first EP.
back when they went by Spaz Kid.
Back when Mark by the name of Spaz Kid, they put out that, didn't they?
They did put out Mark Rodito's first album. Amazingly,
they did.
Per Tapes was one of the most I would say influential.
Still remember the old
days. It was a beautiful time. And so Per Tapes was run by Hunter Thompson and Crystal Perez.
I remember, yeah.
I'll refrain from the huge history lesson, but Hunter, moved from Florida to Portland and started making lo-fi house. Really lush, organic, like natural sounding lo-fi house. So if you like Body Son, Pacific Coliseum, or Phones, like the kind of lo-fi house that you would listen to while it's raining outside, check out Echo Earth by Akasha System. There's one particular track on it that is among the top 25 tracks that I discovered in the entire last year, and it is called Lakehead. So Lakehead by Akasha System. Lux, if you want to, I did not have a link prepared. Is just a fucking phenomenal track. So anyways, those are my recommendations, and if you want to check them out and you like what you hear, shoot me a DM. And if you don't, it's okay. I don't have to hear about it. All right, Chris, you got our hot take for tonight.
Per Tapes also put out the that one Auto album. And
did they really? No way.
Yeah, they did. I think they put the cassette version of it. We should get.
Thank you, Lux. We do need to get Auto on here.
We gotta get him on here. We gotta get our old pal Auto on here. That's the thing.
We do.
On the queue. We got so many people on the queue though. There's so many people to get to. Hot take. Okay. I tell you, how do you guys feel about all these playlists? How do you feel about the fact that we're all fighting over playlist positioning and spots on playlists?
True.
Isn't it fucking stupid? Am I the only person who's this is so fucking stupid that every time I think about putting out a song now, I have to pitch it to fucking Spotify. I don't actually pitch to Spotify because I don't fucking care. But I understand. I do get it. We all. I mean, it's important. But it's just I can't believe that this is what it's come to. Is that it used to be that you could put out an email and you could send to a lot of blogs You could send to a lot of different people who maybe were a lot of YouTube channels even, you know what I mean? And
Right.
like there was many ways to sort of get yourself known or to get yourself in the zeitgeist of whatever genre you're in. And now it's just like, I have to release singles all the time, and then I have to pitch it to Spotify, and I have to I can only do one a month or something. Is that how it is?
Damn.
Isn't you're only allowed to do it once a month? And you have to fucking do this shit, and then you only get don't you only get a few characters to even do it? I'm sure there's only like a character limit for what you have to say. And
Damn.
this is so fucking stupid. It's so dumb that this is what it's come to. It's just this big conglomerate, and everyone has to try and say things to them. I'm I think it's so stupid. But
So what do you propose? What is your alternative?
There's nothing you can do about it because it's the way it is. It's just okay, when I give music recommendations, I try really hard to think about it and to give you a reason as to why I like it.
me too.
And to paint a picture. You too, exactly. And to paint a picture and to create an idea of what's interesting about it. You know what I mean? And I never really punch down to anything. I never say bad things about anything. I'm always doing a positive review. I'm finding stuff that I like, and I want to say why it's special. And I want people to see why I think it's special, and to
Right.
go off a recommendation like that. And that's kind of what it
Well,
used to be like.
Being a DJ, man.
It's true, and that's what it used to be like forever. That was no
True.
matter what way, whether it was on blogs or zines or whatever. This is how you kind of did it if you were an independent artist, and you can't do that anymore, and it sucks. Nobody's
I mean,
reviewing
I miss
stuff
it.
as much anymore.
As
I mean,
a former,
shout out to some of the Electroscape and some of the other people that are still around doing it. You know what I mean?
right.
And who's the really long running vaporwave blog? They're absolutely wonderful. What are they
Oh
called?
man, that's a toughie.
Healthy.
I had. What is it?
They've hold on. Does anyone remember? I mean, they've reviewed me.
I bet
several
Lux
times as
knows
well.
who it is. Oh, is
No,
it
I don't
Agora
remember.
Road?
They're good too. There's another one I'm thinking of.
Nice,
that's
Nathan.
been-
That's
That's it.
of course,
Media. Thank
Lux
you.
knows everything. I swear to God.
Unbleached Media, who've
Thank
been
you.
around for a long time and really put out thoughtful reviews of the things that they love and are interested in, and they take the time to do it. And it sucks so bad that that's a rare thing now. Even and even let's just talk about playing your song. It used to be that maybe there were a bunch of YouTube channels that were maybe trying to do something that Majestic was doing, right?
Oh,
And,
right.
curate a list, curate a vibe, or of course the famous Future Funk one. Yes,
Okay.
there was all kinds of websites there's alternatives. And it just sucks now that it's just everything.
We need a pitchfork for
playlist
vaporwave.
Spotify. We need a pitchfork. Well, we have Sunbleach. We do. I mean, we have.
Well,
people
Lux
that
just said it
start-
ended in 2018.
Oh, it did. What did?
Sunbleached.
No, because they definitely reviewed stuff I've done recently.
Damn. Well, that's a
They
relief.
don't, are they? Did they? I don't think so because let me go back. They reviewed some Polymath Vampire stuff.
Real? Well,
They're
if they
still doing
review
things.
Polymath Vampire, then they're definitely not dead.
They're still doing. Let me find a thing here.
Yeah.
Hold on. Well, I don't know, Isaac. What do you think? While I'm looking
Well,
for this?
obviously, I come from a background of writing reviews and curating and networking
You do,
and
exactly.
just, I do love a good music review. I mean, at the end of the day, call me basic, but I liked Pitchfork, before it kind of got all shitty. I liked it when I, late 2000s and I was getting into Animal Collective and Clap Your Hands, Say Yeah. I enjoyed reading the Pitchfork reviews.
Oh,
watch
not
Sigur
you're right.
Rós
Sunbleach-
album.
hold on, I gotta stop for a second. It's not Sunbleach Media that I think of. You're right.
Okay.
Lux is 100% right. It did end. I was thinking of Listen Corp.
Listen Corp.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully Listen Corp is still alive and well and influencing people
They
because
are.
the
Listen Corp.
era of
Thank you.
blogs and sites is unfortunately over, man. And,
It
and
sucks, man.
algorithms
Wow,
are
it
good.
sucks.
I mean, they're really accurate.
Algorithms are good. Are they?
Well,
are they good?
I think they
they're
are. I
fucking
mean, at the end
stupid.
of the day, I don't like using algorithms for crate digging, but I've looked at the recommendations on our official playlist, and they are spot fucking on.
they're spot on, but they could be spot on with even. They could be more spot on. You know what I mean?
I don't
There's
think they
so
could do a
much going
DJ
underneath the
set.
surface.
You know, there's nothing
couldn't
like
do it
somebody
deep.
that goes, you know, this
Exactly.
song would mix
Exactly. They
great with
could-
that song. You know, it's got
How
the same
else was
vibe.
I ever gonna? How else was I ever gonna hear that song by Iridescent if you didn't find it and play it?
Oh yeah, that song is
It's not
is
even
a
on
heater.
Spotify. It's on SoundCloud.
Oh, are you
That's
serious?
like
You know, SoundCloud gets clowned on quite a bit, but I fuck with SoundCloud. I don't care what
Hey, man,
anybody
here's
says.
the thing: you gotta fuck with all the stuffs. You know what I mean? You gotta fuck with all the stuffs. You gotta fuck with
Right.
the Bandcamps. The
Damn,
SoundClouds,
son.
If you're just crate digging, if you're looking, you know what I mean? Like you can't just go fucking put on Spotify.
Glad it's not
and
just me.
form a radio station.
Well,
But,
I guess
you
we
know.
should bring on our guest. We're about 15 minutes in. We should probably see
Oh,
what
we are?
PJ thinks
Already?
about that.
Yes.
We are. We have yammered enough. Everybody give a warm welcome to renowned vapor artist PJ Rourke. Go ahead and unmute yourself, PJ. And oops, I got the still image. And there's PJ. Damn, you are looking cool as fuck tonight.
So fucking cool. So fucking cool.
I had
They
to.
look fabulously fucking.
I don't know how Chris will feel about this, but I had told PJ before you jumped on that they look like they would be the opening DJ for a picture plane set.
I think they would do better.
I think they would as well. But, you know, that stays here.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So,
I would be honored, honestly.
right?
Great.
PJ,
Thanks
what
for
do you
joining
think?
us.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Absolutely. We're overcome with ecstasy that you're here. Thank you so much for the beautiful artwork that you created for us. I think you
course.
actually accepted a commission during a time where you're well, I probably shouldn't say that on a live broadcast, but you made an exception for us, and it meant a lot. And you did such a beautiful job.
Thank you.
And if your commissions are open, I can always recommend commissioning PJ Rourke for your graphic design needs.
Yeah. I'm never gonna get on the Spotify play. I'm never gonna get any more songs on the Spotify playlist. now.
I know, right? It's over. It's over for you, dog.
It's over.
What do you think about what the good doctor had to say, PJ?
I guess I'm speaking from inexperience because I don't really try to market my music that way or really at all. However, I suppose when it comes to talking for playlists, I guess visibility, I can definitely understand why that's important to artists.
Yeah.
I do
Yeah,
agree
for sure.
that
It is important.
yeah. However, yeah, I do think it is sort of turning it into like, kind of getting away from the point of like, art that takes time rather than art that is like trying to get out so it can be on something the fastest, or I don't know, just make its mark without necessarily like doing the lead up to like make it deliver, I guess, the same way. But yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm a little inexperienced in this regard also. So I haven't really come from the experience of like trying to get my stuff on Spotify.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
It's just like it sucks because it's just like there's like okay, for if you just take this particular music world, you have a vaporwave playlist, you have a future funk playlist, and that's it. Pitch to them.
Yeah, right.
Well, like what the fuck?
I suppose, I don't know. I guess that really comes down to like how important is visibility on Spotify to the rest of the vaporwave community, because for a long time we were doing fine without it.
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah.
it's really just to reach people who might not have heard of it before, but it's always going to be there. I kind of disagree with Isaac earlier. I don't think we need a pitchfork for vaporwave. I don't think that's
Fair.
the point of vaporwave. I don't think it's ever been the point. It has started as countercultural, anonymous art that anybody could form their own opinion on. I
True.
don't think we need one centralized opinion.
I don't
on,
think
like,
I agree with that. I don't think there needs to be a person that's directing everybody's opinion. 100% agree with that. I just think that, you know, some people maybe want the human touch, you know, as
So
opposed to the algorithm.
I like the idea of it's very nice when someone takes the time to think about the thing you've made and to write beautiful words about it.
absolutely,
That's
yeah.
true. That's the whole thing about blogs. It's like it's its own form of art when you write a review or you speak about art that moves you. I don't think we want to. I agree that we don't want a directing hand in the same way that Pitchfork had become. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But a lot of thoughtful people writing thoughtful things is very cool and a very nice thing for your. You know, if you want visibility, that's a nice thing for your EPK. You know, your electronic.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
You're not wrong at all.
Visibility is important, and the playlist, I think, especially for younger artists, is very, very important because they're just starting off and they are very full of energy. They want to get themselves out there. They want to do something to establish themselves and make themselves known, and that's super fair. I think also I've just been around for a long time, and the longer you're here, the more you're whatever.
Right.
I mean, maybe that's just me. I'm at a point where I'm I don't know, whatever.
Well, especially if you do your own.
I make cool shit. If you want to see it, come check it out.
That's where I'm at.
I'm older now. Yeah, right.
Well, especially if you make niche art, kind of like what you make, PJ. I mean, your art, if I may be so bold, is kind of targeted. Well, I don't know if it's targeted necessarily, but it's for people that loved escaping into a fantasy world.
Bit.
Yeah, I'm on it. Thank you, Lux.
Thanks.
It's for people that want to escape the late stage Western capitalist grind and want to go to a high fantasy world where everything is clunky in the best possible way, and so there's some exaggerations and some just beautiful light motifs that you start to notice. I would say based on 16 and 32-bit era, maybe even 64-bit era JRPGs, and so there's a lot of people that are into that, but there's also, unfortunately, a lot of people that aren't,
No, it's interesting to hear you say that from that point of view, because that's kind of where it ended up after a trajectory of not being that at all. And I mean,
okay.
If you go back through my work, you can see periods where it looks like stuff was just made by a completely different artist, because it was kind of coming with that energy. The later work that I've been doing really just came out of I guess a need for me to want to shake things up for myself, and then also just adapting to a smaller workspace as I
right.
So I focused on smaller skill work, more illustrative work. And then just in trying to make that more fun for myself, yes, it did start to get very much more exaggerated and sort of indulging more in my childhood nostalgia.
Gotcha.
It's interesting how the environment affects the workflow like that.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I've never really had the extra money for a studio space, so my studio has always been some portion of my apartment.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Now it's 50% of my bedroom. So
imagine having a whole extra building you could go to work on art. What alternate universe? Well, somebody can.
Well, the alternate universe.
Somebody
is
can afford it.
Well, it reminds me of the really big indie rock bands that now have these big spaces where they can just go and play around and do whatever the fuck they want.
Right.
I still remember I was Orograph talking about how they wanted to see Vampire Weekend wanted to see CS80 and so he had to and that's when Orograph was working for the rental company for the vintage synths, and they had to push this fucking thing up
was it a piano or some shit?
It was a
CS80
CS80. It's just the biggest, most rare synthesizer in the entire fucking world.
See, I don't
make music.
It's
Vangelis composed I believe he composed so much stuff on it, right?
How?
It's huge. It's giant. It's one of the most, and there's only a few of them in existence. And Vampire Weekend's it seems cool. Let's put a little let's add it to one fucking song. You guys move it up several stairs to our illustrious studio space for us, and then move it back down 30 minutes later after we're done fucking around. It's so disrespectful to such an incredibly important piece of equipment, and so disrespectful to a cool person like Orograph too, in my opinion.
Bruh.
Would you like to hard labor for us to make more money than you?
I know, look at that fucking flex.
Yeah, so meanwhile most of us 50% of the bedroom, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you feel like you have to keep your workspace separate from your chill out space, or do you find that work is relaxing?
So that's interesting too, because I definitely did need to make that separation in my last work environment, apartment space, whatever. I did finally have to separate my like work area from my bedroom, chill out zone, whatever. And I was still doing like more. I was trying to get like more gallery shows, type of that thing. I was trying to get art shows. I was trying to do more painting work and like actual like technical drawing work. And so yeah, it was good for that. I find now that my work has become a lot more relaxed and is actually like a lot more fun for me to make. And the environment doesn't matter quite as much. Because there's so much less pressure on myself. I'm not holding myself to any sort of external expectation. It's just like,
wow.
am I having a good time? Like, yeah, let's go. Like,
That's how it ought to be.
That is the attitude to have. It's so hard to get to a point with that attitude sometimes, and we lose it pretty often. You know, if we get some kind of, sometimes we get the attention, a little bit of attention for something we're doing, and then we're like, I should keep doing it that way, lest I lose this validation. But if you can find that validation internally, and it does come from what you just said, am I having fun? You know?
I definitely like was in a situation where like kind of post art school and like getting in like a really unhealthy like work like time management habit. Like I would kind of just run myself into a ground with like anything I was working on. Now like I give myself like 2 hours a day to draw something and it's great.
Good.
Yeah. And what comes out of that is so much more free and like full of life. You can tell I'm having fun with it because the drawings themselves I think have a lot more energy.
They're so much fun, especially
they're really fun.
The three like sub boss trio that you made, and then you unveiled like the Overlord, which is terrifying looking, and it just kind of. And then not only did you take like the picture, but then you had a version where it was like dark up top, and all you saw was their eyes, and they were standing behind the three bosses, and it was just like, man, this is fire as fuck. I would love to play this video game.
Yeah, I'd love to play. That sounds good. I don't even really play many video games. I would play that fucking video game. That looks amazing. I love the little worlds you create and the mythology that you create behind things and like your interpretations of things like, like mystical creatures or angels or things like this. They would be a little bit terrifying. They would be a little bit interesting. And it's so fun the way you do it. And it's always like very distinctively you. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
No matter what you're doing, you can always tell that it's your style. Can I ask you can we talk a little bit about your journey in art and where that began, and like with visual art first? I'd like to get to know that and how you really developed your style because it's very distinct.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so I've been drawing since I could hold an implement. Like I remember being like 3 years old and drawing stuff.
Sick.
But yeah, I've always been really interested in. I don't know, just I grew up in a time where I was exposed to like a lot of really cool media. I mean, I was born in '93, so this is when like really like retro anime started to come overseas. I remember being very young and watching like it wasn't quite, I don't think it was quite Cartoon Network yet, but they would do like reruns of Voltron.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
It would be like they played on like Saturday mornings occasionally before they would play the actual cartoons that were on the station. I'd see that or like Macross 1 or something like that once in a while.
Sure. So yeah, I was really into Voltron, and like the monsters in that series, they're called the Robeasts, and like I remember like getting excited to see like, oh, like what's the Robeast of the week gonna be?
Oh,
like,
sick.
And just like kind of informing my visual diet through like these anime series, and like then later like cartoon series. And then like obviously like I'm getting some echo. Sorry.
No, that was
me. Sorry, I was just making sure the stream was running all right.
I checked him out. He was turning the phone on. I knew that may happen.
Yeah, if you hear an echo, it's me making sure the stream works.
Okay, no worries. But yeah, my bad. Anyway, yeah, sorry, I got thrown off.
No, it's all good.
You're talking about your visual diet of monsters.
Yeah, so I'm the youngest of three by a significant margin, and so with my siblings and I, there's kind of like this really cool like decade gap where I inherited like a lot of old like tech from them. I would watch them play like every console they had growing up. I might have been like too young to play video games, but I really liked watching them play them. And so just kind of like also digesting that. And so like all of these things kind of work together to kind of like put this kernel in my brain of like, yeah, these are going to like keep informing my visual diet, even if I don't do it all the time. kind of like throughout my youth, I drew fantasy. Like I made up video games all the time. I would make up characters all the time.
Very cool.
And like not necessarily like connecting any sort of story or making anything out of it. Just like, oh, like this is what's in my head right now, and just like the freedom to put it on the paper. I didn't care if it was good or not. I didn't have any concept of what that was. It was just kind of like the freedom of expression offered by like, oh, like I'm seeing this like escapist media and like through a child's lens that's so engrossing because it's so different from your day-to-day and like the mundanity that you have to go through. Things like, I don't know, I was really into like practical effects, like dark fantasy 80s movies, like Jim Henson stuff.
Nice, like Labyrinth.
Labyrinth,
Dark Crystal.
stuff like that. So
Lovely.
yeah, totally. So
Oh,
like,
I can definitely see that influence in your work now that you say it.
Sure, yeah, it comes through no matter how much later, and was like kind of always there, and has kind of just stayed in the background and gets developed a little bit more over time. I don't think I started taking art seriously as a career until like high school. That's when I kind of started to think like, oh, maybe I can like pursue this. And then like moving into college, like focusing on art majors. And I don't know, I think I initially wanted to pursue illustration. I went to a community college where I was able to do like a few things and try stuff out, and kind of just like get my gen eds out of the way. And then like by the time I was ready to start like a 4-year school, could zero in on like a major. And like I don't know, I got accepted to RISD, which was fucking crazy, and like did not enjoy it at all.
Really?
Damn.
Totally. Yeah.
Wait. So you got accepted to RISD, obviously one of the most acclaimed art schools in the country,
Yeah.
and you didn't like it, huh?
No,
What didn't you like about it?
So what I eventually realized was like it has a really good reputation. I'm getting into some spicy territory right now.
Oh,
It has
shit.
a really good reputation.
Oh, can we get the flames queued
Oh
up?
no! We better stop the episode.
I came as like a middle-class Midwest kid and saw that the reason it has the reputation it does is because it's been supported by a wealthy, white, able-bodied majority for like 200 years. And like, so as long as you have like people who have money in the school funneling it into it, of course they're going to say good things about it. As a transfer student, I literally went to like my admissions head.
Yeah.
I was like, "Yo, dude, like I'm kind of floundering here. Like I feel like I don't have a lot of trajectory. Like I feel like I'm just kind of aimlessly taking courses, and they're not really like getting me anywhere. Like, what do you recommend?" He's like, I gotta be honest, we have a really hard time processing transfer students. I was like, thank you for being honest with me, but like, can you maybe do it better? Like,
Yeah, just
can we
be
do it better?
better.
Like, I appreciate you saying that and not
You're
trying to
the
put it in
most,
front.
like,
Can we get better at it?
people.
That's step
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
So
Shit.
I don't know.
Oh,
I guess I just realized like if I wasn't getting a lot out of it and like didn't feel motivated, it was way too expensive to continue. Like,
Yeah, it's
Gotcha.
extremely expensive school.
oh, incredibly. Like, it's okay. Like, honestly, anybody watching this, like, especially now, like, college is getting so bad in general. Drop out of art school if you think you want.
You heard it on Hot
here.
Takes.
You heard it here on Hot Takes. I have
Unless
to
you're
get
like
my
rich or know
controller.
exactly what you want to do, I don't think it's a good idea.
Interesting.
Mhm.
Damn.
Because
Wise
I
words
just-
from the Peach.
Yeah,
Wise words.
they just want to waste your time, basically.
It's definitely a racket for sure. All college.
Absolutely.
Unless you are going to like track for a career that needs a degree and like there's a really good job acceptance rate. Like there's too many lawyers, there's probably too many doctors. Sorry, Chris. Glad you made it. But you know, at this
No,
point you
there's
should
not.
probably
I could
go
use
be
more
a
people.
journeyman.
I could-
Oh wait a minute,
I
there's
could use
not?
some more people.
Okay,
use
Chris
more
could
people
use
in
some
my
more. If
field.
I could work for you, I would go back
in
to
my
school.
particular specialty, there's not a lot, and
Damn.
I am slightly overworked.
That's the thing, right? Like you're giving up so much to enter a workforce that is going to be underpaid. Like you're going to be saddled with like an insurmountable amount of debt that like you're going to be paying off with a job that won't pay you enough.
It's true.
It's pretty wild. And like I don't know. I guess just getting ahead of that and realizing like, is this right for me? Can I stick with this? Does this make sense for the rest of my life? It's a really important thing to ask yourself. And if you're not feeling it, don't spend the money. Like you have so much more time to figure that out than think you have to do something because it's what's expected of you.
You know, the kids are all right, but for the most part, I feel like they don't know, or they're a lot of them are not aware that you can walk away. Like once you're an adult, you can
don't need more
leave
lawyers.
if you
go,
aren't.
Go drop out of law school, please.
Yeah, drop out of law school. Go be a journeyman. Join a union.
And if you are in high school and you're not sure, go to community college first. Like, you're going to get the same quality of education, and you're going to be spending like a fraction of the cost to get the exact same thing you would get. I transferred into like RISD with like pretty much all my courses clearing.
Nice.
For like 2 years. So like, yeah.
Especially in this economy, do it the smart way, like PJ did. I didn't do that.
Isaac, what are your opinions on college? What do you think?
Well, you know, I went to. So, you know...
Wait, actually, hold that thought, because I have to get my charger for my computer, because it's about to die, so...
All right, yeah, you definitely need...
Quickly,
yeah.
And
I'll answer the question while you get your charger.
Literally one...
Oh, shit, yeah, go charge that shit. So, this isn't about me, but I grew up, like, working class, so I was the first person in my family, like, ever who had gone to college, and my family was religious, so I went to a Baptist university and got a... I got really lucky. I got my costs taken care of, simply through grants and you know, just FAFSA stuff because, like I said, very working class background. But I didn't study anything that was relevant at all. I have a radio TV degree. Granted, I mean that's easy to complain about because I have a degree. Lots of people don't, but I mean there's no future in radio, and if there is a future in TV, I mean it's that window is really closing fast. So I would absolutely echo what you say, and if you have a strong idea of what you want to do, get the coursework done or teach yourself, you know.
I guess too, just I want to state for the record, like, this was not me giving up because it was hard. Like, I did the work. I did really well at that school.
I believe it.
I believe it. I believe it 100%.
The whole year, and still just felt nothing. And like that sucks. Like when you put so much into it, that fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but then you have the sunk cost fallacy too, where some people are like, "Well, you know, I'm almost done. I better stick it out," you know. And,
yeah, right. That's the thing that really can.
You're not a failure for walking away, you know.
No.
That's something in general in life.
Call their
right?
bluff,
People,
dude. Like,
call their bluff.
Exactly.
Strong
call
words
their bluff.
from the Peach
exactly.
on Hot Takes.
That's the thing I think a lot of people get stuck in general is the idea of like, I've gone so far, I have to keep going. And it's like not everything is, you know, but you can cut your losses.
Yeah.
You know, if it's wrong, it's wrong. Listen to your feeling. Listen to your gut. Don't be hard-headed. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
People get very stubborn about that sort of stuff.
what's been so gratifying for me too is like they don't want you to know this, but like, hey, especially if you're like trying to be an illustrator, guess what? You can still be an illustrator and not go to school.
No shit,
like,
right?
Really? Wow.
If you make the work you earnestly want to make, people respond to it.
They do.
Like,
Yeah.
I have gotten such more positive response from like my weird monsters than any time I was like trying to do something that was like fine art. So yeah, I don't know. Stick to your shit. Like you can do it.
I would love to see the like non-monster fine art that you have, just because I'm just really curious.
I mean, yeah, this one's kind of become famous online, but like that's one of my
Oh
paintings.
yeah, I'm very familiar with that piece. Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
That was like post school. That's when I was still just like sleeping around Chicago, like trying to get into group shows and stuff.
I have a,
still
Very
having, like,
metaphysical.
yeah. I mean, I have a shit ton of loans from school.
Damn.
Sure.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your music a little bit. Obviously you're known for your visual art, but you're also a musician known as
You want to
Fighting
get back to the
Island.
visual art at one point again.
We
soon.
will be coming back to it. I believe you
Let's talk about
me.
Fighting Island.
But we got to
There's a lot
talk
of-
about Fighting Island. So PJ makes music as well. If you haven't heard it, it's called Fighting Island.
It's great. Check it out right now. Someone put a
Hell
link.
of a plug there. Tell us about some of, like, if you could just describe your sound and maybe some of your goals for that sound. I don't know, influences.
Sure. So I don't know. I've actually been making music since probably like 2012.
Sick.
And just kind of like messing around. I still to this day like consider myself a hobby musician. And kind of just like through this almost decade, exploring new things, like trying stuff out, all within like the same free DAW I downloaded from the internet.
Oh man, there you go.
Yeah, because I just like I know that like I know how my brain works. I know that I'm not gonna like spend the money on hardware. I'm not gonna take the time to learn it. I'm just gonna like use what's available to me and like get the most out of its limitations that I possibly can. And I mean, it's the old adage of like limitations breed creativity.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, I don't know. I guess just through exploring this DAW and trying different things. I mean, there was like, it's gone through a lot of iterations and a lot of different names. I like tried to do like techno for a while. I tried to do like digital hardcore and like industrial noise and shit. And like I don't know, I was just getting stuff out of my system. And Fighting Island stuff almost came kind of out of necessity. I had a laptop kind of bite it and lost like everything I worked on. So I got like a new used laptop. We downloaded the software and just kind of started from scratch. And to explain the project, it's basically video game music for games that aren't real. I kind of just use nostalgic sound fonts and I guess just like synth waveforms that evoke I guess like soundtracks from like you were saying, Isaac, like 16-bit, 32-bit era, some 8-bit mixed in too. The thing is that I can't import VSTs, I can't use samples, so I'm literally just manipulating waveforms to sound like that.
Oh, that's fucking cool.
Yeah, I see. Yeah.
Yeah. So kind of just like as that went on, I think, let's see, I started that project in December of 2016.
Nice.
And what I realized is so great about video game music is that it uses these very raw waveforms. You're using like raw saws, raw squares, very like basic drum patches. And then it was just like, how do I embellish that? How do I put my spin on this? And yeah, it's kind of just been like a learning experience. It's kind of been going on for a while. I did like a series of 5 albums called like the Quest series. But I don't really consider them actual albums. I consider them more like stepping stones to what I would consider like my debut album, Echoes from Brightmoon Tor.
Right.
Which I don't know. I definitely wasn't setting out to be a vaporwave project. That kind of just happened accidentally. I think that community found it and found something of merit in it. Like I definitely.
I love how often I hear that.
Yeah, I see the connection as it being
like they were more inviting than anybody else.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I mean it was. I think.
What were you saying? Just so you see it as what?
Oh, I do see the connection as it being like a nostalgic thing. Like
yes.
Oh
yes.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense, PJ.
Yeah. What? To answer your point, friend of the scene, Riley Miller said it best.
Yeah. Shout out Riley.
Shout out Riley.
The first scene to love me back.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Some good people in this scene.
Totally. So yeah, I don't know. I guess it was just really fun to play with like compositions and theming and like challenge myself with this project while still keeping like this very like hobbyist approach. That kept it additive and fun and like everything felt productive because every time I tried something new, I was learning something. I wasn't like I was doing it very much in a vacuum. I wasn't really like listening to a lot of other stuff.
That's
cool. I was taking influence from a lot of like non-VGM, and if I was taking influence from VGM, I was really, I was influenced more like less by like the VGM greats and more like because like I'm not like a game developer. I was just doing like the art and the music, so that had to stand on its own. So I got really into video games that were like mediocre to bad, but had really good soundtracks.
Can you name drop some examples?
Totally. So like Final Fantasy Mystic Quest.
Oh yeah, that was pretty bad.
But the soundtrack is the best part of the game.
Right.
And that was not Nobuo Uematsu. That was Ryuji Sasai. And then Alcahest and Arcana kind of fall in like the mediocre
Okay.
range, but those were like two RPGs actually scored by Jun Ichikawa, who's better known for his work on the Kirby series.
Oh yeah.
And so it's really interesting to go back to those OSTs because it's actually pre-Kirby, but you
Kirby
can
has
hear
some
all
fire
Kirby
OSTs.
Yeah, you can hear the Kirby sound fonts used in like this JRPG expression, and it's wild.
Right.
It's so
Oh,
cool.
that is fun.
That's really interesting. Huh.
Yeah, Lufia 2 by Yasunori Shiono as well.
So you
really
would
good.
consider Lufia 2 to be a subpar game?
Mediocre.
I thoroughly agree.
Yeah.
I played it on an emulator and it was just like town dungeon, town dungeon, town dungeon.
I mean, Super Nintendo was like the how many JRPGs can we force into this console?
And that was
After a
awesome.
while- Yeah, totally.
PS1 did it too.
Yeah, I don't know. It, I got really into just like discovering those and kind of using those to inform the work.
Fuck yeah.
Were you always a fan of the soundtracks? Were you always as knowledgeable of the composers before you started making this project, or was it after, when you were looking for inspiration, that you went back and looked into who was doing what and followed their work, their body of work?
Like obviously, like the greats I knew. Like I knew Nobuo Uematsu's work before doing the project. Koji Kondo, obviously, Hip Tanaka. One of my favorites is Yoko Shimomura, who like started with started with Street Fighter 2 and then just kind of like moved into Final Fantasy, and she's just incredible. But no, I mean, it was kind of like a research project after that. Like, let's kind of dig into like these underdogs,
Right.
and like see what they're about. And yeah, it did become more of like a let's appreciate these composers a little bit more for like really giving it their all, and trying so hard to like pull something beautiful out of like what was gonna be like okay,
Right.
in history. But I still think there's merit to that. I think it's really earnest
is.
and admirable.
It's a beautiful sentiment. I love that.
I was trying to describe to my coworkers the process that David Wise had to go through when creating the Donkey Kong Country 1 and 2 soundtracks. I don't think I adequately described how difficult it was for David, as I'm told, to make each sound like mechanically. It wasn't like playing on a keyboard. Apparently they had to program all those sounds, and it's amazing that it came out the way it did.
Absolutely. That is a soundtrack that I can just put on as music.
Oh yeah.
And like I really appreciate that. I think like so kind of as a funny aside, I collect like video game soundtracks on vinyl.
Oh, that's fucking cool.
It's part of my collection, yeah. And it's always really wild when like I think contextually like it's really cool to like have like a lot of variety in the score, and like it's meant to like suit different things. But like
Right.
listening to it as an album, it can be really jarring when you're like, oh, I'm really feeling this, and then you hear like a goofy minigame theme or something. It like
Right.
totally goes the trajectory.
Yeah, it interrupts the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah, true.
I think I just tried to avoid that with my work, and it's like if it's only going to be listening, it all has to be immersive, and it all has to follow a through line.
You know what, though? It is really immersive when you hear a piece that's designed to be like a menu theme, or like, this is the intro, this is the title screen. Equip does that a lot. A battle theme, and it's just like, I love that for what it is. And there's another guy, he goes by Leon, and he makes the same general kind of thing, like, oh, here's a water level, here's a level where you're in the sky, here's the village theme, and it's like, damn, like, you really got that on the nose.
Yeah. I mean, to piggyback off of that, like one of my favorite like examples of this like and for like a very again just like a really bad game, the like Waterworld game for Super Nintendo.
Based on the movie,
Yeah,
which
composed by
itself
Dean
wasn't
Evans.
very successful.
The map theme from that game rules, and I even have like a slight nod to it on Echoes.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you mind if I just ask right now, because I love asking people like Equip what their favorite video game OSTs are, or even like their favorite section from an OST. Do you want to name drop any specific video game music pieces that have influenced you, or that are just like always going to be top of the line?
It's tough. I mean, anytime anyone asks me my favorite anything, I forget everything I've ever heard.
Oh yeah, that sounds like me.
Yeah.
I always try to say, well, what's one that you really like? Or what's one that you can think of right now?
I mean,
that you
There you
like?
go. That's a better
This is my
question.
favorite.
Thank you,
What was
Doctor.
that?
Well, just what's one that you like a lot that's in your mind right now that you're like, yeah, I really enjoy this one a lot. You don't have to commit to it being your favorite.
Sure.
True.
I mean, yeah. The
Put
like
me
end
on
all
something.
be all like gun to my head answer when people ask me like favorite video game OST is Chrono Trigger.
It's a good one. Real good
Yeah,
one.
totally. I just think that game's premise, covering so many periods of time, covering such a sweeping story, and tying it all together so well is a huge feat. So much so that game broke Nobuo Uematsu and someone else had to finish writing it.
Oh, poor Nobuo
Really?
Uematsu.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Fascinating. I had
Chrono
these backgrounds. That's a fascinating story. I have to look
the
that
Chrono
up.
Trigger soundtrack was actually composed by Yasunori Matsuda.
I got
and
you.
Nobuo Uematsu was in more of a support role.
Ah.
Yeah. Secretive Man is another one that I think about a lot.
Surprisingly good soundtrack.
Oh yeah, totally. For a game that I don't really like, I don't know if that's a hot.
I don't
take,
much care
but-
for it either. I mean, it's beautiful for what it was, but it's just like, yeah, agreed.
Yeah, I've played it with friends, and it's a lot more fun that way.
True.
But that menu is brutal. I don't know how they like
The circle
put that-
menu or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played it when I was way too young, and I was just like, does not compute.
Sure. And yeah, I mean the ones I mentioned earlier, the Earthbound soundtrack
Very
is a
cool.
great.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I think a lot of people have the Mother soundtrack on vinyl.
Yeah, I do as well.
Nice.
I mean that soundtrack's incredible. Again, just kind of playing into the world theme, like world music theme. We're covering so many areas. Honestly, like that. That game's music library is so large that it could cover
Right.
like 3 track discs. It's a wild undertaking. Yeah, I mean that's just a few. I could talk about it all day, but like we have a finite amount of time. So
True.
Yeah.
Well, Chris
I
wanted to
appreciate
get back into the graphic design aspect of the show.
Oh, I just
Thank you for
kinda
letting me
wanted
take
to-
that rabbit trail.
No, that was really fascinating, and I loved it a lot because it really displays the passion you have for the medium that you're working in with this music too. It's just like it's not just I wanted to make a video game soundtrack, which is already valid and cool. It's like no, I wanted to make a video game soundtrack, and I've myself have gotten lost in my appreciation of the passion behind the people who've composed these games, and also reminiscent of the of my experiences with the games as well. There's just a lot of this artistic energy that's going behind the process of Fighting Island, and I wasn't aware of all that until you started really just off the top of your head rattling off every one of these artists and be like, and also the underdogs, and also the interesting
Right.
thing about the story behind this composition is this, and yeah, that's fascinating stuff. So there's when I think that's people need to go listen to this Fighting Island album, the most recent one right now, and understand what that process was going on behind it. Also interesting was you talking about how your limitations of only being able to work with the waveforms in your free DAW. You know what I mean? And it's so funny that you're working within these limitations on the DAW, but in your mind, there's this expansive knowledge of all these game
True.
soundtracks and
What
composers.
limitations?
You're taking all that, and this is there's no limitation on the amount of knowledge that you're accruing and the amount of art that you're thinking of and considering, and and then you are taking all this all of this energy and all of your diet, as you said earlier, of art, and you're putting it into a thing that gives you limitations. And when you work with and that's how you make something completely unique. You know what I mean?
I'm really passionate about music in general, and there was definitely some non-VGM stuff that informed that album too. And
Interesting. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I
What
would
was
love
some
to
of the
hear that.
non-VGM stuff that
Sure.
informed the
I mean, I don't know. I guess at the time, I was listening to a lot of. Sorry. Let me just think about how I want to structure this. So, at the time I wrote that album, I was listening to a lot of shoegaze, new wave, post punk,
Nice.
some metal music, and just kind of applying certain hallmarks from those albums to this album, and how do I simulate a shoegaze guitar but make it sound video gamey, or how do I pull I don't know, this metal drum pattern and not make it sound too aggressive, but
Right.
it's enough that you understand there's some intensity happening, and really fun thing when people talk to me about the music I make is like they'll say like, did I hear like a little bit of this melody from this video game or this song? I'm like, yeah, you did. And what I'll do is I won't listen to something and then try to recreate it. I'll remember, like, I think from my memory I'll try to pull like this line of music from whether it be a game or a song, and I'll just kind of from memory put it in somewhere in the track just for like a few seconds. And it's really just there. It's sharing my memory with you, and if you share that memory with me, you're gonna pick it out too.
Ooh, how fun!
Yeah, there was like I think there's like this 3-second bar in inside Brightmoon Tor where someone was like, "Was that Corridors of Time from Chrono Trigger?" I'm like, "Yeah, it was." Like,
I love it.
It's just little Easter eggs like that. I like to spritz like little nods to whether it be video game music or non-video game music throughout all my albums, just to kind of pay homage to what influenced me. One of the earlier tracks, Millennium Gate, there's a bridge toward the end that is basically like the chorus melody of It's Over by Choir Boy.
Really?
Yeah. So it's fun to like listen to that song and then listen to the other one and be like, oh yeah, that is that thing. Like, and I'm not embarrassed to like say this. Like, I think it's cool to be like, yeah, I'm kind of recontextualizing this through memory and applying it in a different.
Oh, I think
format.
that's super sick.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you have musical background, training, anything like that?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
No.
Awesome.
I'm just a hobby musician. I'm self-taught. Yeah, just kind of like not trying to give myself too much to work with. I'm comfortable with my limitations. I don't see them as a hindrance at all. Like the inability to sample or import audio, or the fact that I can only use 15 tracks per project. Like, it caps out at that. Like,
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So we got a backlog of questions in the chat.
Yeah,
I'm
which
gonna
one do you
start
want to do
rolling
right
through.
now?
The first
which
one
question was it?
is I don't remember who asked it, but they want to know what your favorite video game artists are.
favorite video game artists? Like,
Yes.
Like-
That
who
was
did
the
the-
whole question. So I don't know if they mean like the graphic design part, but that's what I'm thinking.
Oh, totally. I mean, two greats that I can think of off the top of my head, of course, Yoshitaka Amano, and and Akira Toriyama.
Oh yeah.
A lot of the work that I did around like
You're gonna have to. I'm gonna have to ask who are those two people, because I'm not as familiar with this world as you guys are. So who are those
Chris.
two people? What have they done again?
Yoshitaka Amano has done a lot of work for Final Fantasy. He did a lot of the promotional art for like the earlier games. I think like 1 through 6. Is kind of
It's like
his
the fine art, like watercolor
Oh,
looking Final
okay,
Fantasy
yes,
art.
I know
super
exactly what you're
flowy,
talking about.
gorgeous, like
Yeah.
yeah. And Akira Toriyama did the art for Dragon Quest, Dragon Ball Z, Chrono Trigger. Really cartoony, really expressive, great character designer.
Oh
my
yeah,
God.
very
Yeah.
fun. And, very distinctive too, Chris. I know you know what Dragon Ball Z looks like.
Of course, very familiar.
And
with that.
people bring him up all the time when they look at my art. I'm like, yeah, you're not wrong. Like,
You'd
around
like the
time
slimes from Dragon Quest, definitely.
Yeah. Around the time I was working on the character art for Echoes from Brightmoon Tor, I was really influenced by Akihiko Yoshida, who was the character designer for Final Fantasy Tactics.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's kind of a departure. It's a little more simplified. It's really cutesy, but like very ornate costuming with like really chunky accessories.
Yeah, like the shoulder, like what do you call those? Not shields, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, just like pauldrons.
Pauldron, yes.
Also, like for creature design, because I was really trying to make like kind of bold, teetering on like kind of creepy but still cute. I was looking at Kazuma Kaneko, who is the monster like character designer for the Shin Megami Tensei series. So yeah, I think that about covers like a fair amount. I'm sure there's more, but
Well, Isaac stepped away for a second. So he's probably got a better idea of the backload of questions than I do. But I'll just ask the first one I saw earlier, just a few minutes ago, which was from our dear friend, there we go, August River, another phenomenal visual artist in the vaporwave world, who
My
has
boss.
done. Really?
I mean, he released my tape, and
Oh, that's right.
Are you guys talking about August?
August, yeah, August is the best.
August River is the
phenomenal curator of music, phenomenal visual artist. Has done some work for me, obviously, and of course done
Love you,
some
August.
phenomenal work for Golden
Such
Living
a
Room.
cool, sweet person too, IRL.
Yeah, a wonderful person in general.
He's great.
Asked about your literary influences.
Yeah, let's
Oh.
ask that one. Thank you, Chris.
Okay. Gosh. I don't know. I really liked the work of. Okay, so I love Inferno. I love. Really got into like. Sorry. I like Thomas Pynchon a lot.
Oh yeah, of course. Gravity's Rainbow.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I honestly haven't read a book in an embarrassing long amount of time, but I used to be an avid reader, so I'm like trying to come back.
Yeah,
to,
me
like,
too. It's embarrassing, isn't it?
Yeah, I think this is one thing that like overexposure to media has like killed for me.
I
It's like,
absolutely agree. It's so
Yeah,
much
I
easier
can't-
to play a video game or watch a movie. It's really
It's hard to slow
unfortunate.
down and read a book. You know, it's just hard to slow down in general. You know,
I just can't focus. I'll just like read a sentence over and over. But yeah, no, I really like. Lately, I've really been enjoying more like visual media. I really like. I have a lot of friends in the comic scene. I really like graphic novels.
Very cool.
I really like old art books. I've been really getting into those lately. Just kind of exploring like the weirdos of like a significant art movement and learning about them. So I don't know. I definitely have gotten more into like academic literature, historical literature now. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't think that was like a very direct answer. I'm just like forgetting books I liked.
It happens. It's
You
hard,
pulled
it's
that
hard to
Isaac.
get put on the spot.
Yeah.
Isaac,
No,
do you know any of the other backloads of questions?
Yes, there is one. Do you draw motivation for music and visual art from the same things?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, so I guess initially, like the music is pulled from video games, but also, as I've said, like some influence and also flavoring from non-BGM music. As far as like the visual art, especially lately, it's almost a component piece to the music, and they almost inform each other. I'll either do one first or the other first, and then they'll kind of like either write a song around a character or create a character and be like, oh, like I should give them some musical context.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. But they all do just kind of come from the sieve my brain has become of like all the like video games and cartoons and like anime and manga I've seen.
Very awesome.
So yeah, it's kind of like the runoff from that and how it wants to take shape.
Do you make soundtracks specifically for some of the visual art that you've made, or do you typically
lately-
make the artwork at like the visual art afterwards?
So lately, yeah, it really depends. I think when I was writing Echoes, I didn't have like a very clear story set out. I had done some character designs for like the main characters, and I had written a few tracks.
Gotcha.
And when I realized it was gaining some traction and like something that I wanted to see through, that's when it kind of started to bloom. And then like I started to explore more like, okay, like what does this world look like? Who populates it? Like what is the goal of this character?
Right.
How do I soundtrack that? And now kind of like following that up with the project I'm working on now, it's kind of following the same through line, although I'm focusing a lot more on characters and trying to have like a more direct story from the outset.
Nice.
Because it's a follow-up, like sequel prequel type thing. So it's directly informed by the last project. I have pieces already that I can work with. It's now like, how do I give them context?
Big Lots, Laggy McLaggin Pants wants to know what your favorite beer is.
Oh gosh, Miller Lite.
And Strip Silence wants to know if you've ever ran a D&D game.
No, never played D&D.
I actually haven't either.
Really?
Huh.
I haven't either. But
Yeah.
I'm surprised none of us has.
I played Magic though, so
He did Magic. He did Magic. the
Okay.
Gathering, okay.
And incidentally, you have a bit of your own Magic game, do you not?
Yes, it's a good, nice lead-in, Isaac.
that was a very good segue. Yeah.
Can you
Nice,
tell us?
good segue,
Everyone in
sir.
the chat, round of applause for that segue.
I'm good at something.
Ah.
Can you tell us about the game that you and August River are
Yeah.
developing?
Let's
Yeah.
talk about that. The one that you and August are developing, correct? Yes.
So, yeah.
I'd love to hear about the process with this. This is fascinating.
So August is just kind of incredible, and like
Yeah, right? That person
Right.
is a genius.
initially hit me up to ask if he could like make a cassette of the album. I was like, yeah, dude, of course. And then it just kind of like spiraled from there, where he was telling me like, yeah, we really go all out. Like we have this like really beautiful packaging that we put a lot of money into, and like we always do these extras with our tapes. Like, what were you thinking of? Like, did you want to include anything else with your tape? And I was like, well, I kind of thought like trading cards would be cool. Like, okay, we
Right.
can do that. And so I sent him like some mock-ups of like trading cards, and he was like, "Oh, these are great. Oh, how do you play the game?" I was like, what? No, I thought they could just like
Right.
Oh, man. That
It's like-
feels like a very August thing to do. It's just the curiosity of like, oh, yeah. And and then what happens? Like, you know,
Yeah.
how's it more? Yeah. How do you play
So-
the game? I love it. You're like, I didn't think that would be a question I'd be asked.
Right.
it gets so much better.
I
So
love it.
I was like, dude, I don't know. I kind of thought these would just be like collectibles. He's like, all right, I'll be right back. Comes back like a couple hours later. It's like, so I was talking with Ganjira, and we just like came up with like this loose rule system. Like, let's see how it works. And then like over the
You're
course
the most
of like,
creative people ever in this world, in this scene.
I
love
This
this
is
scene.
crazy. There's such creative people.
over the course of like a few months, we hashed out like, yeah, a legitimate card game. I have to give credit to both Ganjira and August for actually
Shout out
creating
Ganjira.
them. I mostly just supplemented the art and like adjusted designs to suit the rules. I also did like some editing on the rule book to make like the wording a bit more clear, and like obviously like supplied the designs. But
Right.
yeah, no, it was mostly them who like created the game itself. And yeah, it came as like a special edition of my tape you could buy. You got like every tape comes with 3 cards, but if you got the
Nice.
special edition, we only made 9 of them. You got a tape and like a full deck of all the cards and like a gameplay mat.
There's like a
And-
game mat. Yeah.
Yeah. Insane. I didn't do any of that. Like, I was just kind of in the boardroom for it.
Oh man, we got to play it at the next Vapor function.
Yeah.
Somebody
I
with a
haven't
full deck
actually
can bring.
not played around yet, so it's gonna be really funny when I'm like bad at my own game.
Oh, man. Don't speak that into existence. So are you the kind of person that likes to share your, music that you are into, not your music necessarily, but like that you're into with other people, or do you tend to kind of keep your interests and
Oh, no.
tastes like to yourself?
I love talking about music with people, and it's so hard to find people who want to talk about it. I don't know what it is. Yeah, I am so into it. I really try to stay current. I am always listening to stuff. I'm always finding cool new
Hell
stuff. Yeah, I love it, man. It's been like I don't think I got really into music until like high school, and ever since then it's kind of been like a nonstop train.
I didn't really find my musical stride until high school either. I'm glad I'm not the only one. Anytime somebody like Chris talks about liking, pretty good shit at a pretty young age, and I'm like, ugh, man, it took me a minute. I was late to the game.
Well, you
I'll say,
also
like,
have
probably-
a slightly different upbringing.
That is
Yeah.
true.
Probably like 8th grade too, because like that's when. I mean,
So
I was
what
an
makes
early
you first?
an early adopter of streaming. Like we had a Pandora account, so
Nice.
that was like my first brush of like, oh, I can just like type in an artist and then get like a bunch of related artists I've never heard before. This
Right.
is awesome.
Like, why wouldn't you?
Like that's
So-
that like door open to like eternity moment.
Yeah. So did your older siblings inform you about anything, or did they help with any kind of musical taste, or not so much?
It was kind of a combined effort of like my parents who had very eclectic tastes, and my siblings
Very
who had
Parents did,
during
huh?
what's that?
Parents had good taste in music, huh?
They really did. I can't
Wow.
complain too much about the music I was raised with. My dad was
Really?
like, they were born a couple years apart. My dad was into like 60s and 70s stuff. My mom was more partial like the 80s and 90s, but they had like some connections too.
Nice.
And like a lot of areas where we found. I mean, okay. I swear to God, I'm not making this up. My first
Let's go.
concert that I can remember was Steely Dan with Michael McDonald.
What?
Yeah.
That's so fun. Really?
It was like I was 7 and
So
did not
fun.
appreciate. I did not appreciate it at the time, but I think back about that, I was like, "That's
That's a cool one to
Insane.
start with, dude. That's a weird one to start with.
Right.
You know? Interesting.
first
So-
concert of my own volition was The Cure."
Oh wow, that's a good one.
I was 13.
So-
It ruled.
Can I ask you? Okay, so was The Cure? Was that a band that you connected with early? Was that one of the first
Oh, yeah.
artists that you listened to? Like, oh, this feels like my artist.
Yeah.
You know, that wasn't just like my siblings or my parents. So like, one that
No,
I
my-
feel like.
You
Go
all
ahead.
like The Cure. My sister really liked The Cure, and kind of like, and like they were an artist that was played enough on the radio, and I could be like, "Oh, this is different," and like,
Yeah.
I am getting something out of this. And then you as like things become more accessible, you can like look into their deeper catalog and be like, "Wow, this is all really good."
Mhm.
So I don't know. I definitely had a lot of stuff like that. I definitely had a similar experience with like Talking Heads, Eurythmics, just kind of like exploring the music that was around me before like kind of discovering more contemporary stuff around me and like having the faculties to do that. Yeah, I don't know. I guess from an early outset, I was raised with like a lot of different music, raised with like a lot of directions to go with it. And then just kind of like took that interest into like, oh, well, I want to make my own identity now. Like, what am I into? What's something that hasn't? What can I share with people? And honestly, like, I remember getting into like early indie music and like my parents being really into it and like sharing stuff with them.
Cool.
Really?
Um,
Oh, so you're able
yeah.
to share stuff with your parents too?
Yeah, they
that's
were really
cool.
excited. I think they were just excited to hear
Damn.
something new at that point.
Oh,
I'm jealous.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Right? I mean, like, damn, you and your parents can listen to the same shit together. What?
Wow.
Well, I mean, I don't listen to these bands anymore, but like,
Right,
I remember
yeah.
being in high school and being really into like Arcade Fire and the National, and like those are still like my mom's two favorite bands.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's like some good old chamber pop, man. So your folks don't fuck with Black Midi? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know. My dad can't speak on it. He's no longer with us, but
That's rough.
I don't think my mom would like Black Midi at all.
Fair enough.
That's
Or
for me.
the song that you had me put in your Insta stories.
That?
The song that you had me put in the Insta stories that I did for promo.
Oh, Guppy? Yeah.
Yeah. It was like
Uh,
it was like a little like bubblegum bass meets chiptune meets like some like nightcore breakcore type vibe.
Yeah, I love Guppy. He's definitely like one of the artists I am more excited about seeing kind of post hyperpop.
Gotcha.
Makes really good shit.
Hell yeah. Well, I'm so glad that you're so open with sharing your tastes because I feel like a lot of people fear throwing their pearls before swine.
not at
I know
all.
I personally I try not to shove things down people's throats. I try to really not overwhelm people, but I also try to, if I know somebody likes, like say somebody was into like Anamanaguchi, I'd be like, well, you got to hear Equip. You got to hear Fighting Island, right? You got to hear,
Band.
you know. Yeah, right? So like if you, I don't know, it's like being a musical concierge. It's just fun, you
Yeah,
know,
totally.
finding the degrees of separation or whatever.
I
Yeah.
know, like, I know that I'm so all over the place that I can find some commonality with somebody.
Yeah, I feel the same
Absolutely.
way. I'm
Unless
sure
it's,
Isaac
like,
does as
boring.
well. Unless it's boring, yeah.
Unless
Right.
it's
But no,
what?
that-
What did you say?
Unless
Bloghouse?
it's like,
He said unless it's that's funny, Isaac.
No, I didn't actually hear what you said though. Sorry.
He said unless it's boring.
Born. Okay, yeah, fair. I feel that.
but yeah, I think that's the way to be, right? Is to continue to look at different kinds of music, so find the artists within the different movements that speak to you, and then you have this wonderful collection of recommendations that you can connect with people on.
It hasn't happened yet where something has come around and I'm like, I don't get it.
Right.
Yeah,
And
it
doesn't happen, but
Gotta stay young.
I'm excited for that moment too.
You're excited for the moment when someone presents you with something, you're like, huh?
Yeah.
Right.
I'm looking forward to it.
The only time I ever get presented the huh moment is when you talk to people that aren't into music.
Yeah,
those types
that's
of people.
a weird one, right?
It's a weird one, but that's like sometimes it's like you realize like, oh wow, music isn't for everyone, and like maybe
Right.
they only listen to 1 or 2 or 3 songs every year.
I remember thinking that when I was like 10 and an idiot. I don't know.
Imagine.
Some people they don't listen to music.
It's
not for
pretty
them.
weird.
It's a thing. It's true.
So
I
let me
get
ask you
sensitive.
this, if you don't
What was-
mind, since your music kind of dovetails with different scenes, like possibly the chiptune scene, or I'm trying to think of some other scenes, but definitely at least like the chiptune and like video game music appreciation scene. What do you have you tried to break into those scenes, or have you had much experience with that community or that culture? Or was there something you found lacking?
I'm not really actively looking to. I guess I'm kind of in a position where, like, if somebody asks me to play a show, I'll say yes, but I'm not really
Right.
looking at. I'm not actively trying to get involved with stuff. I know that there's like a burgeoning electronic scene here in Chicago,
Mm-hmm.
and like Chicago's a great city for electronic music in general. It's in our bones. Like,
Yeah, house music.
yeah, it's the birthplace of house. It's the birthplace of footwork.
Fuck yeah.
Life. Like, yeah. I guess like the chiptune stuff and like the experimental stuff is always kind of sidelined. Like, you don't see that as much in like the bigger venues. It's mostly in DIYs.
True.
And I've definitely made connections in that community. Like, I have friends. I mean, Isaac, like the people who run Dads are friends of mine. And,
Awesome.
yeah.
I'm super
And-
excited to meet them then.
Totally sweet. I played there twice actually, and
Fuck yeah.
it was both really good experiences and both completely different shows. But yeah, I guess it's not really something. I just kind of don't want to deal with it, honestly. Like,
Understandable.
I would much rather take the time to like make something really good to share with people, and when I'm ready and like if people are willing to have me, I'll go for it. But like,
Right.
I guess I'm not really necessarily trying to be a entity in the scene.
I
would-
get it.
Yeah. It has nothing to do with like staying anonymous or anything like that. It's just
Right.
like I'm not. It's a hobby, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well,
I've never
much
I've never
less
cared-
pressure that way.
Yeah, I never cared too much about capitalizing on the music. I think there's too many interests that are ruined by the prospect of making money from it, and
Sometimes it's not
I
even
don't
the
know.
prospect of making money; it's the prospect of like just constantly trying to get attention for it. You know what I mean?
That's
Or
true,
trying to
yeah.
get-
I
not
think-
even the money thing.
I really treasure the like people who have to dig and find my work, or like
Right.
the work that I like digging and finding other people's work. It's
Yeah.
rewarding when you find something really good after doing that. And I don't want to take that away from people. I don't want to be in everyone's face. I don't have the energy for that or the time.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I guess I'm kind of getting like starting to get like a little bit more talked about, and I appreciate that a lot. I really do, and I don't want people to think that like they shouldn't do that. But yeah, I guess I'm just gonna kind of keep posting at my own pace. Like, this is always going to be like out of a place of love for me and out of a place of like personal interest. If other people like want to participate, great. But yeah, I guess it's just not that important to me.
I love that. I mean, at the end of
Yeah,
the
I
day,
like
it
that a
gives
lot.
you freedom. It gives you control over your brand. And you don't stress out. It's not like a second job, you know?
I don't want to like do something because it's expected of me, especially when it comes to music. Because like, I don't know, it has to come out of like a situational place. What I guess what I really appreciate most, like what I don't want to lose ever as a component of my work, is through its inexperience, it maintains this earnestness and like this emotional component. I don't want that to go away because it's gonna come. It's always going to come from like this kind of learning novice perspective. It's just kind of taking what they can get, and like it's always going to like come from like a more personal place for that reason. I don't want to introduce all these other things or like trying to compete with other people or trying to be in the public eye. It's going to take away from all of that.
It's really hard to maintain that mindset because sometimes you put a lot of work into something and like you seek that validation, and that validation can really get in the way of what, you know, looking for that validation from the attention can really get in the way of the you know, the spirit of creation that you're talking about.
What's so beautiful, Chris, is like the inverse. It doesn't feel like work.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like work at all.
Perfect.
It feels like it's you know, the freedom of expression. It's like, oh, this is actually like what I get to do with my actual free time.
Yeah.
And it's so
Fun.
like, yeah.
That's great. That's the right way to. That's the best attitude.
Yeah.
PJ, who are some people that you think we should bring on the show?
Oh man, has B been on?
No, and they
B
need
hasn't
to
been
be
on yet.
Oh my God,
No.
get B on.
We got Lunitas. We got you. We need to get B on.
Yeah,
I get
they're
B
funny
on.
as fuck, and they have king shit taste. Bring B on.
Yeah, they do.
I've known B personally for years. You know, absolutely. She's Philly. She's from Philly.
I was in their DMs about the fact that
From
their
New
music
Jersey,
taste
but
is
she comes to
all
Philly a
over the
lot.
place.
B would be rad. Let's see. Man. I mean, you had 18K on, and like he's definitely a scene fave of mine, so that was pretty dope.
Man,
We love Dennis.
listening to 18K talk was just like listening to like an auteur. It was
Yeah.
like the Bob Ross of vaporwave.
They have an incredibly soothing voice. I think I could listen to them talk forever.
Very eloquent.
Yeah,
Damn, that was a dream of mine.
totally. I don't know. Geez, this is like another one where I'm
What
like,
an
oh,
off
man,
the wall question, but hey,
there's so many people I want you to have on. But yeah.
We'll get to everybody.
we want to get.
eyeliner, Luke. I'd love to.
Absolutely.
Oh, so there's a lot
Damn,
of people who
thinking
are
that-
not American that we want, that a lot of our friends that we want to bring on who are not American, and it's we're still trying to figure out how that works since we do the show live, and the time difference is a difficult thing.
It
Like
is.
eyeliner is in New Zealand.
Record it.
Well, they went like
deeply,
Hong Kong or Singapore for a while, which
Well,
would have been
Singapore,
doable.
that's right. Forgot. Yeah, I deeply want to get on my dear old friends surfing at some point. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it's hard to figure out how to do that, and we obviously have a lot of people in Britain that we want to bring on. You know, England. Obviously, we really want to
They
bring
gotta
on
stay
our
up
buddies.
late though.
Yeah, we would. I would love to get some more
PJ
buddies like
says eyeliner
Donor Lens or
and
Strawberry.
Bianca B. Fanti. All right. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
Well, if we got to figure out how to do the international stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, honestly, even if you have to pre-record it,
It's just so much fun with the chat, though.
It
You know what I
It is
mean?
fun with the chat.
We love the chat.
Yeah, I mean,
PJ
you can-
Groceries been on. Yeah, we should ask.
We should
I
get
could
groceries on.
I can message him and get him on. Oh yeah, why?
Groceries has a lo-fi house side project that not a lot of people know about called Null Object, and it's
Oh, yeah.
pretty good.
I InRail says you're missing one member of DDS, and that's true because we've
You're
had
right,
our
we gotta
buddies
get James on.
and Tech
By the time we
Well,
get
yeah,
him
I
on,
know.
they're gonna be
Well,
like, why did you pick
I've
me
like been
last?
saving. Yeah, but because I've been saving. We've been
Saving
saving
the
James.
best for
They're gonna come out with an
last.
album soon. They're gonna they're gonna have an
Tech
album
was
out
easy.
soon.
They
They're gonna
always have crazy shit to say.
I wanna see-
Oh, they're my
I just
favorite.
wanna
I love
see
Tech, but
the
like
live stream with James
and also-
Dr. Chris, because no one's gonna be able to say anything. Chris,
I know anything that I say will
I've
just
gotten
sound
better.
asinine.
I've gotten better. James, obviously, a very good friend of mine. You know what I mean? Obviously, in Philadelphia, he's done Terminally
Yeah.
Chill with me at least 5 times, I think, counting like the he's done Terminally Chill with me about 5 times at least. But they have an album coming out, and like I gotta save him, right? There's so many
Yeah,
people
we gotta
that
save-
we're saving too.
Maybe
you
we
know
should
what I mean?
strategically get James on right when the new album comes out.
I mean, I'm waiting.
I
till
hope
the-
long
I hope
day.
they don't listen to this episode.
They're busy, man. They're fucking recording
Right.
and getting ready for
Well,
like
they just
Comic-Con.
moved,
They're
you
not-
know, and-
they're busy, just moved, yeah.
I remember
busy
I
right
was
now.
like, I met James at Electronica in LA
Fantacat.
and was
We
like, oh,
definitely should
Fantacat
get-
for
yeah.
sure. Thanks,
we gotta get
Agnes.
Agnes on, of course.
I asked
That's a
James
very
what
good-
their favorite Final Fantasy installment was, and they were like, Final Fantasy 11, and I was like, okay. Thank you for that.
That tracks.
Get OPN on.
Get OPN.
Yeah, I would.
Thanks, Strip
Okay,
Silence.
I would like to get OPN on. That would be great.
These
But that's
PJ, do you have any
we'll get him on.
PJ, do you have any favorite like visual like works of art, whether it be movies, YouTube videos, TV shows, just anything that like a moving visual work of art, I guess I would say would be classified as?
Moving visual work of art? Pretty much any. Okay, so I guess like anime-wise, like Evangelion, anything by Satoshi Kon. It was
Oh
not-
yeah, Chris and I both love Satoshi Kon.
Yeah,
Well,
like
yes,
not
Satoshi
just-
Kon is Paprika
my
is
favorite.
Good
informed
answer.
a lot of how I do my work. Paprika is a big influence on me.
not just like one of my favorite anime directors, but maybe my favorite cinematographer. Just makes anime look like film without losing any of the magic of the medium.
Right.
Definitely like, I don't know. It's more, I guess it's more literary than visual, but a huge influence to me, and something I think everybody should experience in some format is Berserk.
I've been needing to get into some of the better anime.
Movie wise, Holy Mountain, sure.
Jodorowsky. Oh yeah, for sure.
Like, despite Jodorowsky's issues, like that's a great movie. Faith Odyssey,
I love Jodorowsky.
Nice.
probably like I like Big Fish a lot. I think that's a pretty.
Oh, that's an interesting choice.
No,
Big
I've not
Fish is
seen that one.
underrated.
I need to.
Underrated, absolutely. It's a good one. I appreciate
Visually
the
beautiful.
imagine. Well, it's visually beautiful, and it's sort of a celebration of the idea of imagination in general.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
It's hit different too. As-
Gummo. And Real says
Yeah, I was
Gummo.
gonna say, and Rail says Gummo.
I love Gummo. That's one of my favorite. films.
Cock-a-doodle-oo.
I love Gummo.
Gosh, I guess like just trying to comb through like different kinds. Show wise, like lately I've been really enjoying Barry.
Barry's fun. Love
Barry's
that
good.
show.
I'm really enjoying its subversion on the machismo action show.
He and Bill Hader in general is just kind of a fascinating guy with a very
Really
interesting.
is.
He's
Yeah,
really
he's-
interesting. You know what? People who could do impersonations, like really good impersonations, they're like a whole different breed of person.
Like
you know what I mean? Like
Disco-holic.
they like the like. Well, like with Bill Hader and like just the way that he can like inhabit different characters and be different people, and like he's had such a weird career, and he's been involved with so many different types of people. You know, he's actually one of the few people that like was like a he was like a writer for South Park at one point too. Like he did a stint on there. Like they never invite new people into that little camp, and like they did with him. So like Bill Hader just has like flipped through so many different camps of people. I don't know what it is. He's an interesting character, that guy. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah.
got
So
a really
Barry is
crazy-
like wonderful. You're right. That flip of machismo, exactly. Yeah. Stuff.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just like I'm
That's
wishing I
not
could
bad.
say more and drawing blanks.
It's
But this is
okay.
always
We,
stuff that I'm willing to chat about too. Like if
we
anybody
asked-
like my inbox is always open. If anyone ever wants to talk to me about anything, like please feel free.
Yeah,
I'll
hell
get to
love it.
Like,
Love it.
I love talking about media.
Yeah.
Whether it be
You
music. or-
you post on your story a lot the stuff that you're like listening to, and I feel like I just can't help myself.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
just like,
I'm
oh
always
yeah, that's
checking it out.
great, or like
I'm always checking it out to see what you're talking about all the time, every day, pretty much.
So yeah, I'm always down to like find out what other people are into, and that might remind me of something that I want to suggest to you. But yeah, I guess yeah, that's a pretty good like hammer, I guess. I'm admittedly like not as movie literate as I'd like to be.
same. Used to be.
I think like the last like movie I really enjoyed that I saw that was like new was Parasite, and that was what, like 3 years ago.
Oh, that was really good.
Well, yeah, but it's such a good movie.
It was.
And I don't know. I'm also kind of coming from the standpoint where I feel like a lot of movies are bad lately. So
Right. You
I
didn't
don't
want to
know.
watch the 8th Thor film?
Oh, I'm good on that.
JK, it might be good. Who knows?
I've heard nothing but bad things about that movie, actually. So, let's see. Oh, I won't. Someone will, and they'll tell me about it. Yeah.
Somebody else can curate the Marvel Cinematic Universe for me.
I just also found that, like, my attention span for movies is so shot. It's got to hook me in, like, 10 minutes or I'm out. So
They're still making some interesting
I
films.
wish
Like,
I was
remember,
watching
like,
the cool
I saw
shit
like
that Chris
uh,
watches. I just want to
Yeah,
watch
I
indie
watch crazy.
sci-fi.
I'm constantly watching like weird
completely
shit all
agree,
the
and I know
time.
there's
Like,
cool stuff.
I
I
watched
just feel
I watched this.
the
I watched
minority.
Lamb recently. That was pretty interesting.
Lamb? That sounds like the kind of
yeah.
film you would watch.
That was pretty weird.
I
I enjoyed
wish-
that.
Wish I could appreciate the like art. Like we were talking about Gummo. I saw Gummo like in undergrad, and I was like, oh yeah, you know. Like, would I want to see Gummo 2022? Probably not.
Oh, I will
I'm
watch
getting
that
old.
anytime.
I
any
know
day
you
of the
would,
week.
and I respect that. I just want to watch John Carpenter movies and like.
Nothing
Yeah.
wrong. Well, John Carpenter's a phenomenal director. There's certainly nothing wrong with that.
Well,
Um,
thank you. PJ, what do you think the biggest problem with music is right now?
Gosh. I would say. I don't know. There's a lot. I'm trying to zero on one. Biggest
Well,
problem.
while we're waiting for that, may I recommend that you guys all check out Lech Majewski's work. He's a very interesting Polish director who makes some very weird, surreal films. And anyway, what?
Damn, Lech Majewski.
Yes, I like him a lot. Very big fan of Field of Dogs.
Field of Dogs.
Mhm.
You know, I will need
See,
to
the
know
old-
what streaming service I can find that on.
Good question.
Do I need
don't
to buy
know.
a
He's like, there's like a
Criterion
whole
Collection
series
Blu-ray?
of directors out there that are like so not concerned with anything aside from creating art and not having any kind of really like very strong narrative associated, or even like I feel like there's a lot of people who direct a really good indie film so they can get some sort of dumb fucking Marvel thing after that. But there's like a whole series of directors that just don't give a fuck, and like they make the most, and they're like the most talented, beautiful directors in the world, and it's specifically just to make like strange art. Like, you know what I mean? So I like Majewski's one of those guys where his films are beautiful and cinematography is so gorgeous and the visuals are so strong and resonate so strongly when resonate so deeply when you see them. It's just all poetry and there's like zero desire to move beyond any like an actual
Well,
art house.
now I really want to see it. Damn it!
It makes like A24 look like fucking like I don't know, Jerry Bruckheimer.
Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah, Lech Majewski is a really good guy with that. Also, I'm always a big fan of like anything Peter Greenaway does.
Yeah,
But anyway,
a minute to think about this, and it's complicated because I think the problems that are facing music right now, the same problems that have been facing music, they're just modernized. So we still have this like predatory music industry that's also
Oh,
gotten more
man.
savvy. So not only are they demanding more, but now there's more outlets to, send things out too.
More ways to squeeze people.
And I guess I think inauthenticity is really becoming a problem. I think we're really losing, like, especially when it comes to like, I don't so much believe this with like independent artists, but I'm just seeing a lot of like popular artists that are clearly just like phoning stuff in for kind of like what we were alluding to earlier about like trying to get seen, trying to be noticed, trying to get on playlists, trying to do.
Yeah.
I think we're kind of losing a sense of identity in a lot of areas of music, and that's a little scary to me.
Right.
Oh, that's a very. Oh, yeah, it really does, man. Sometimes, like, I put on Spotify and like I'm like, where do these? Sometimes artists come out of nowhere, and it's like they just fit so perfectly in a playlist. And I'm like, a real artist, or is there like some studio that like Spotify has?
Do their
that's putting
parents have
together
blue
artists?
check marks next to their Twitter handles?
And I'm just like, I've never heard this person before in my life. I don't know where they came from all of a sudden. And it's like I listen to the song, like, oh, it's a pretty good song. Like, but where did they even come from?
Other than that, like, I guess just, I mean, this whole, like, we're obviously dealing with a lot of things that are not necessarily like the fault of the music industry, but just world at large, like pre-pandemic supply chain, the vinyl shortage, like people being able to run their businesses well, as a result of forces completely outside of their control. I don't know, like, this makes me realize like how many things can stop on a dime if everything just isn't working exactly as it's expected to. I guess that just inspires me to remind everybody, like, and I don't worry about this community, but like, just be nice. Like,
yeah,
a lot of stuff, like a lot of things you're supporting, a lot of people you're buying from, it's a small team. Like they're not like these big.
It's insane. It's insane that I order stuff from a vaporwave label and it comes to me. I can't even fucking fathom.
I know.
That.
Did you see that happening 10 years
like,
ago?
This is just like, yeah, I can't even believe that I can't even imagine that like they have like they're like sending tapes out across the world, and I'm like, wow, I could never do what these record labels do. I could never in a million years do this. This is crazy that they just do it and like it comes to me. I'm like, this is a person. Like, this is not a company. It's not like publishers. It's not like Columbia House or something like that.
Has anyone already brought up like posthumous releases?
Has anyone brought it up? No.
What do you mean?
Because that's fucked up.
What are your thoughts?
I don't think I should do that. I think that's like
it's pretty exploitive.
Oh,
unless it was the artist's wishes. You know?
There are like four like different Tupac albums that came out after he died.
Like, the label didn't make it. Why are they taking the money? Like, I think posthumous releases are really bad and should stop.
That's a really good hot one. Posthumous releases are bad.
Yeah. And then I'm out of things. Those are all the things I could.
Be Careful just asked a fire question. Be Careful says, if you could hear a collab project between any number of artists, who would be on it?
Oh God, how do you expect me to answer that? Yeah.
Try your best.
Jeez. I had a. Just think about it the other day. Gosh, man, I don't know. That's a thinker. Like, I not only have to think about like all the collabs I'd want to happen, but all the collabs I'd want to happen in each genre I listen to regularly. And
I'd
then
be down to hear all of them.
Which of those is the best? Like, yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah. I mean, I guess in the meantime, listen to the Nameless Dreamers album. That's a really good collab.
Right. Makes a lot of sense for those two to do work together.
Yeah. Gosh, I'm gonna have to get back to you on that one. Good thing we talked. I guess, yeah.
That was a good one, and just like me, it was a stumper.
Yeah. I don't know how I could answer that unless I had time to prepare.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know.
We'll get back to you. You come back. We'll
I'm gonna
another
message him at like 4 in the morning.
Right. There'll be like a 3 a.m. Instagram story.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on why some artists, whether visual or musical, make it and some don't?
Money, publicity, what kind of teams they're able to hire.
It does go down to money, doesn't it?
It does, and unfortunately, it kind of always has.
Who do you even hire? I never even understand that. They're like, it's like, who are the teams? Like, who are these teams? Like, I don't even know who you do hire. Like, where are they finding the people like this shit? Who does this? How do you hire the right person? I don't even understand that shit. Like, I've asked some of the more successful people we've had on here in the past, and like, they don't even know half the time. They're like, I don't know.
Well, Dan Mason's answer was fun. They were just like,
Damn,
I don't know. I just
like,
kind of
I
got
don't
picked
know,
up.
man. I got picked up, and I'm in it now. And I'm like, well, really? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, interesting.
Right
I remember
place, right
talking to
time.
like,
Well, they knew a little bit about like when to drop the songs.
Well, I remember talking to Uniwa, and like Uniwa was like, well, I got like a distributor that was pretty good, and I'm like, well, anything else beyond that? He's like, oh, not really. I'm like, oh, what the fuck? I don't understand. Like, so like somebody is hiring a team out there that's a successful person. I don't think it's anybody in vaporwave apparently. Like, who the fuck? Like, who do you hire? Like, I don't even understand what. Like, this is ridiculous. I think you hire people. Like, what? How do you even know who the right person is that understands you? You know, it's ridiculous. So I don't know, but someone's hiring somebody. Obviously, someone's doing this.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't really research this part of the industry.
Because like, why would we? It's stupid.
I don't give a shit about it. Yeah,
I don't either. I'm like,
yeah. So I guess if you're able to do that, great. But you're probably not the artist I'm listening to anyway.
Damn, that's cold.
So I don't know.
Fair.
And I really like it when an artist I don't think is going to be successful is.
Yeah.
But okay.
Me too.
Honestly,
Hot take. I love it when good artists blow up. Like when Sigur Rós got signed to Geffen Records.
Yeah, that's
and
interesting.
let's get back to like the first question, what I think is wrong with the music industry. I hate when like artists compromise their integrity for clout. It sucks.
Damn,
it's
son.
really upsetting. Or just
It's
like
very upsetting, yes.
Yeah. Stop doing that. Just like
Stop doing it.
I'll wait for a good album. I'll wait as long
true.
as it takes. Yeah. And I know that's not really how things work. And I know you're on.
You can tell when they start making it for the algorithm or the TikTok.
Yeah, it's disappointing. You can tell when there's no life.
I mean, I get it. Like you have to make money. You got to eat, but like, damn. So, what are some examples of music that you strongly dislike?
Oh gosh, electro swing for sure.
Yes.
Yes, speaking to Isaac's language.
Gosh, really, what's the like?
Sees Moulin Rouge once.
Yeah, I don't really fuck with show tunes.
You don't fuck with show tunes? None of them?
I don't know.
I fuck with Les Miserables all day long.
I fuck with Fiddler on the Roof.
I don't know if this is a hot take. I don't like Les Miserables.
That is a hot take because that is beautiful.
That sound that came out of his mouth.
I strongly disagree with you. Les Miserables is like some of those beautiful music. It's a wonderful musical. It's a wonderful everything. It's a bummer. That's why he's a bummer. That's true. But it's beautiful. It's life. I've seen Les Miserables 10 times.
Oh, I respect that.
I'm a big fan.
I mean, I would go see Fiddler on the Roof in the theater.
It's just really funny. Never has there been an opportunity for me to bring up the fact that I am a big fan of Les Miserables. I'm such a big fan of Les Miserables that I drove by a high school one time that was doing a production of it, stopped and bought tickets for it. I do not go to this high school, and I got tickets to go see it.
That's adorable.
School, I don't even know. So that is like how much I enjoy Les Miserables, and I hate the movie a lot. I really hate the movie. I really hate the movie.
I think I hate Anne Hathaway and everything.
I think I hate Anne Hathaway and everything. Yeah, I don't like her. I don't like her in anything. Yeah, all right. Look, we may disagree on Les Miserables, but we strongly agree on Anne Hathaway. I don't think I like her in anything.
I think she's a bad actor.
Yeah, I tried watching like, oh god, what's the one movie? She was in the Jonathan Demme movie, which was pretty good. Aside from I wish she wasn't the main actress with not Margot at the Wedding. That's the Noah Baumbach movie, but it's like another wedding film that she was in. The movie was pretty good, but she was not. I wish there was a different actress.
I did excuse myself for a minute. But I will. Yeah, I'll think about other questions I was asked earlier than that.
Never mind. Let's move on.
Well, I am very, very glad.
What was the band that did Wolf Like Me?
Wolf Like Me?
Yeah, that song.
Oh, I don't know, man.
You come on, that was like big.
Wolf Like Me?
Indies. Yes. Come on.
Shit, I don't know.
What the fuck?
What did it sound like?
My phone is dead right now.
Oh, Codex Boy Encyclopedia says TV on the radio.
That's it. Thank you. He
Thank
was
you.
in the movie. I remember that.
Unreal. Damn. Well, at the end of the day, obviously, I've been very outspoken what my least favorite kind of music is, and I feel like I beat a dead horse, so maybe I should be a little nicer on that. But at this point, I mean, we both know that you have a burning hatred of nu metal, so I guess we're even.
Me? I really don't like nu metal. I really don't like it at all.
I mean, maybe not a burning hatred, but like
it's not burning hatred. It's just I think
there's no love lost.
No, I think a lot of these things have to do with your age and when you grew up and when that music hit you and when it doesn't hit you and like and what you were listening to at the time and speaking as someone who came of age when that music was coming up and I had already not been into it because I was much more into like punk rock or I was into like metalcore in the 90s was coming up.
Sick.
So I'd already heard things like Earth Crisis or Converge or Botch or Dillinger Escape Plan. So it's like no one's gonna sell me Linkin Park after I've already heard Botch. You know what I mean? Particularly when you're 15. Particularly when you're like 15 years old.
See, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Now, if I was older and like nu metal already happened and I went back and listened to it and maybe I was younger or maybe the movement was kind of already tapered off, I might have a different opinion of
It's
it.
angsty
I might be
teenager
like,
music.
well, I would be like, I like it. It's fine. I don't know, man. It's not for me. It's fine. And it's okay.
I just want to
it's
read
fine.
this in rail comment for anyone
no.
that's not here and can't read on podcasting services. And rail says, Electro Swing and Imagine Dragons, Stomp, Clap, Hey Ho, Car Insurance, Church, Youth Group, Dude Perfect, Farm to Table, Austin, Texas core music are the only two genres I cannot stand.
I just thought of it. That went away.
Man,
That's the collab.
You know what I didn't like about nu
I
metal?
couldn't have
was
summarized it better, Nathan.
You know what I didn't like about nu metal is it's very it's very like thick-headed sort of like I don't know, man. I didn't like the lyrics. It seemed I don't know. It doesn't speak to me in any way, I guess.
I mean, it speaks to somebody, and I can't disrespect it, but it's just not for me either.
I don't know, man. What do I know? I never gave it that much of a chance. What do I know? I don't know anything about what I'm talking about with this. I'm not the person to ask about it, probably. I could be completely wrong. I could go back and listen to these albums and be like, I'm so fucking wrong. I love that Korn album. It's amazing. I just never bothered. I just didn't like what I heard, and I never explored it further. It seemed silly. It seemed like I don't know. I don't live in Arkansas and hang out at the mall all day drinking Gatorade. I'm not interested.
Drinking Gatorade.
I apologize.
But I'm wrong. I gotta stop. You can get me in trouble the more you make me talk about nu metal.
But it's fun. I can't be the only bad guy on this show.
That's true. I usually allow you to be the bad guy these days, honestly. And honestly, to tell you the truth, guys,
It's kind of fun.
I was gonna try and play devil's advocate for Electro Swing, but I'm not sure if I can do that either.
You don't have to do that. It's okay.
I don't have to. It's all right.
Yeah.
You don't want to spin poi and go hang out at the Ren Fair?
You know what, man? I guess people get really into it. The one people who are. You know what? What else can we talk
There he
about?
is.
We're running out of time. I don't want to spend the rest of the time talking about
what
this.
did you come back to show us?
So no, I wanted to apologize. I was fighting I was in a test of strength with a bladder issue. But
poor thing.
while I was away, I have an answer to Be Careful's question.
Oh wow! Well, do share, my friend.
I want a Carolyn Polachek Arca collab.
Oh wow!
Okay,
that would be really dope. That's a great answer. Okay, that is a great answer.
PJ, nice.
Unassailable answer. Arca, man, they are so ahead of the curve, and they have been ahead of the curve for so fucking long.
Oh yeah,
I've been to Arca for a long time. Since
I remember Stretch 1 and 2.
Yes. Well, I remember the first time. I think one of the first times I started really getting into Arca was when I heard the FKA Twigs EPs, the first two that she put out, because Arca produced a lot of the tracks on those, and I remember thinking who the fuck is producing this stuff because it's genius. And then
so good.
I know. Well, Arca is just so fascinating because if you go back and listen to their old, they already had mastered the concepts of making all kinds of different. Really intelligent dance music and intelligent sort of pop music very early when they were very young. They'd already mastered this shit and it was already great.
Cool.
And so they're so far ahead of the curve, more than almost any other artist in my opinion, that they're just so They're just constantly coming up with new ways to make music and new ways to
I
produce
love
music.
that
and new sounds
experimental
to
brand
do.
of electronic music where it's like, wow, this is something I've never heard, like Ash Kusha or like Fatima Al Qadiri type shit.
Totally. Yeah, I love both of them. It just
Hell yeah.
it just makes me excited again. It's like, oh, cool. Like, I don't know. It's
Everything
always-
Arc does is like, I'm going to challenge you. Get ready. Like,
If you
that's
could
like, I'm
get
gonna
another
challenge
album
you.
out of
Get
any
ready.
artist, PJ, who would it be? Like, if you found out that any artist was announcing a new album, like, who would have you the most hyped?
Oh wow. I don't know. I get so excited about so many different artists. I think if anyone's had like a long hiatus and really into their work and they announce something, I'm just like, fuck yeah. I
Right,
mean,
yeah.
I know Death Grips just announced something, so I'm looking forward to that. I
Very
was kind of
cool.
waiting for that for a minute. Outside of that, I don't really know. I can't think of anybody who's been quiet for long enough for I would be. Yeah, I don't know. I guess.
Isaac, what about you for that question?
I-
What do you,
I- yeah,
who's
how
one
would
for
you
you?
answer that? Yeah.
How about you,
Damn it,
Isaac?
I never have an answer prepared.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
That's a
new
good question.
Vectroid album would be nice.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Like it's yeah, I agree.
A new,
That's
I
hard.
wish-
I'm just thinking of who hasn't been active for a while because I
Yeah,
feel like
right.
everybody. I feel like
well,
everybody.
what's really cool is there's a lot of people coming back too. Like Lux came back, Syllabus came back, Computer Dreams is coming back. I want to say Internet Club just released something new.
Wow.
That's
You
super
guys,
cool.
You guys should wait till Skeleton Lipstick comes back with a new.
You know what?
album.
I want to
He's got
see
some
a
stuff coming out,
Skeleton
too.
Lipstick collab with Navigator.
You said that for a long time. Yes,
I just think
that
y'all
be
would
fun.
do really well together, and I think Navigator's working on some good shit.
It's very hard for me to collaborate. I've never figured out how to do it properly. I'm still working on that. I would love to collaborate more often.
That's
It's
fair.
hard.
I've never made music, so it's all in my mind. You know.
I'm working on that. I gotta get better at that sort of thing.
Well, y'all want to go ahead and go into
well,
the shout
I
out
didn't
section of the show?
Yeah, I didn't answer the question yet.
No, you didn't. Why don't you? I'm sorry.
I'm always looking forward to whenever, obviously, I mean, anytime 10 Tricks Point ever puts something out. I'm always, that's
sure.
the one, and I'm like, what's going to happen next? I can't wait to see what's going to happen. I'm usually always very excited anytime Tobacco puts something out because I'm like kind of interested to see how they're going to produce it this time. And anytime James Ferraro does something, I'm kind of like, well, I wonder what's going to be this time. Those are some
Oh
always
man, look at that
very
adorable
exciting-
cat.
Yeah.
For
Like,
anyone
it's
tuning in via podcasting services, PJ has an adorable cat in their hands. What is the cat's name?
This is Opal.
Opal.
Opal's
Aw.
yeah. Opal's a very good baby and a very good girl. And yeah, I can't wait for her to release something.
Clams Casino and Burial, too, are two artists that I usually
Okay. So I
okay.
know you're a Cryosauna fan, right, Chris?
Yes.
Good.
I'm really down for a
Really
new
scratches that. I would like for there to be some unproblematic sewer slut-esque music.
burial. Right?
But I've only found like one artist that does it almost as well as she does, and they don't have very much material.
It's sad.
Yeah.
All right, should we do the shout-outs now?
Yeah, let's start with PJ. You can say anything you want. You can shout anyone out or promote, just whatever you want.
I mean, definitely subscribe to the Equips Picks Mixtape Club.
Seconded.
Well worth your time and money. Shout out to my friends and family for supporting my art and my music. Shout out to my partner for being great. Shout out to the scene for being sweet and wonderful. And shout out to you both. I really appreciate you doing this show. I think it's really special. And, oh, hey, Adonis.
Yeah, I was going to say, sometimes you see Adonis in the background.
Yeah.
Got Chris's cat on cam right now, too.
This is going to play great on the
There
audio.
are 4 cats that Lux has that I could let in here right now, but
Yeah, I don't know. Shout out to my friends in the art scene. I don't know. It's just I'm in a really positive place right now, and I owe it to a lot of people. So,
Hell yeah. It's a good place to be.
yeah.
Very cool. All right. Well, Chris, you got your hands full, so I guess I'll go first if that's all right with you.
Sure.
We got this weekend we actually running an ad after the show for Coast to Coast Collective's Pacific Summer, a live stream event hosted by Pacific Plaza on Twitch on Saturday, starting at 4 p.m. Pacific, featuring myself, Van Gogh, Patch Notes, Tether, Joni, Sacre Blow, Luxury Noise, and somebody else that I'm forgetting that I'm going to feel real bad about later. But I've got a great 20-minute deconstructed club set with visuals by Luxury Noise. Very bombastic, just pummels. Can't wait for that. 4 p.m. this weekend on Saturday. Next week is the first leg of the Circuit Zero tour being put together by Be Careful and A Hero, and featuring Van Gogh, Simple Syrup, iClick, Enrail, and some other people supporting, including you, Chris.
Exactly.
The
That's gonna be
Lexington,
on
Kentucky
Saturday.
date. Yeah, the Lexington, Kentucky date is on August 3rd, Wednesday. So we'll be throwing a show together at Owls in Lexington, featuring iClick, Enrail, Van Gogh, Simple Syrup, and somebody else who I'm forgetting at the moment. I apologize. So I'll be opening for those boys. Don't know what I'm going to play yet. Probably some bubblegum bass, maybe some wave music, and then doing it again in Chicago at Dad's on Sunday, August 7th. So if you're near Lexington, Kentucky, or Chicago, Illinois, you're going to want to come out and see the boys.
Be there.
I'm definitely going to be bringing my A game because I have to compete with Simple Syrup and A Hero and Van Gogh and iClick and Enrail. So definitely be there. And then, of course, the week of Electronicon, there will be mini events. I'm doing a space at the Utopia District Tape Swap on Friday, the day before, so excited about that. Probably just going to play some future funk. I mean, and then late August, I'm opening for Autograph in Lexington and Nashville. Going to play some lo-fi house and that sort of vibe. Got a show with Autograph in Lexington with Robert Beatty and Gene Vomit Terror. So that's cool.
Very dope.
Yeah, and then not announced yet. What's that?
Robert Beatty doing three-legged race at that show, or what's...
Robert Beatty's going to be performing probably as Ed Sunspot.
Okay, word.
Fun fact: Robert's actually doing the poster. Can't wait to see that shit.
Wow!
Very excited. It's going to have my name on it. Like I can't believe that I'm going to be on a Robert Beatty poster.
Very cool. Very
yeah.
cool.
And then coming up in September, it's not announced yet, but there's an event that Chris and I will be both participating in, and it's going to be very special and fun. And I honestly, like, it's embarrassing how excited I am to share a stage with you again, man.
I'm so excited, man. I can't wait.
Oh my god. And then there's other cool stuff coming up that I can't remember right now. So I'll give you the floor.
Sure. Well, why don't I just start off by saying that, of course, I'm participating in the Circuit Zero tour as well, and that is the date that I'm going to be playing is going to be this Saturday, July 30th. Our buddies Be Careful, Simple Syrup, Van Gogh, A Hero, they're all going to be there in addition to some Philly people like my
it's
dear
a
friend
big show.
Bonneville and Paranormal and Hideyoshi and Terminal Floor. And let me drop a link for that right now. For more info, click on this link. It will be on Saturday. If you're in the Philadelphia area or the New Jersey area or the Pennsylvania area, come on and check it out. Or the Delaware area, come on and check it out. It's going to be a wonderful time. A whole bunch of friends hanging out, doing cool stuff. Why would you not want to go? How much love is there going to be at that? So much is the answer. The day before that, I am going to be doing a performance at in New York at Shemansky. I'm the Yetee, which is the Future Funk Vaporwave party that's run by that's run by Faith and Glitch. This party is crazy. This place is packed.
Huge turnout.
Party. Those guys who are in that little collective are like they're nightlife people. They know how to do this shit really well. And I'm very honored to have been asked to sub in for my friend Faith and Glitch, who's not going to be there. And I believe I am the first time that they've ever had somebody not in their collective, three-person collective, come and do a DJ set for them. So, Yetee, if you are in New York City or in Brooklyn, come check this out. This party is fucking bonkers. You got to see it. They know how to throw a party, and I'm super honored that they asked me to sub in. So come check out that. In addition to that, new song out I released, I guess like a week ago or 2 weeks ago, called Detonate. You can find that on Spotify. You can find that on the Bandcamp, all that good stuff. Go check it out. It's a fun little track. And of course, Polymath Vampire on Business Casual. It's outstanding, cool album. Check it out. And then, of course, you should always consider going over to the Needle Juice the Needle Juice website and getting yourself a copy of Glows the Melts. And I'll drop a link for that because honestly, at the end of the day, it's the fucking most beautiful vinyl I own. And it's really fun that I made it.
Yeah, nice to make something.
Yeah, this is pretty fucking cool. Still the most beautiful vinyl release I've ever seen in my life. And it looks like this, all kinds of things.
Little hard to hear you, but you guys should definitely get
fucking
it. It's
heavy
beautiful
cardboard.
looking.
Needle Juice releases such fucking high quality pieces of work. Like there's like
Just makes good shit.
no expense spared on like their packaging and the vinyls that they create. It's just like a big honor to have had them re-release this album on vinyl, and comes in the two variants, either Melt, which is outstanding blood splatter, or Glow, which glows in the dark. And I don't know, man. Buy shit from Needle Juice. Those motherfuckers, like, they have like the most beautiful, thick, heavy packaging. Like, I've gotten vinyl before, and like a lot of times it's like very thin cardboard. It's like people, it's expensive, right? Or like you get it off like e-crates, and it's wonderful, but it's still like it's thin. Like it's still like there's no expenses spared on the shit that they put. I don't know how the fuck they do it, or what their connections are with how they're getting this shit made. But it's the most beautiful vinyls that they put out, and this is the most beautiful vinyl ever created. You should get it. Just saying. And the music's pretty fucking cool too.
You should frame it.
I don't know. But anyway, and aside from that, the what's it called was announced. The Doom mix, right?
Ooh, look at that!
Oh yes, that's the Lipstick Elite.
Oh, is that signed by you too?
I get that. Yeah, and I drew a little skull.
PJ has a vinyl of Lipstick Elite.
Lipstick Elite.
Stay passionate.
That I believe is sadly sold out from our good friends at My Pet Flamingo. The Luxury Elite Skeleton Lipstick collaboration. Thank you so much for bringing it up. What an honor!
That's a dream
What an honor for PJ to have one of these that I was able to give directly to him. What a fun night that was.
You're gonna have to bring that with you to Electronica.
Oh, it
to
was
get
such
the
a
other
good time.
signature.
You don't understand. Like when we hung out, Be Careful was there. He was there too. Like everybody was there. I can't even count how many people were at that event. Were at that dinner that we had, or that drink that when we met for drinks after George's
jealous.
show. Oh my God! I could be dozens. There's like I think there's like 25 people.
I want to meet
there.
everybody.
Like
Every time I
was,
see
can't even
pictures
go
of
through
you
all
and
the
like
names
Fiber
right
and Quiz and everybody, I'm like seething with jealousy.
Oh yeah, no, that's fun. Philadelphia's fun, man. It's a nice little way station between a lot of different places.
Loved it. I love Philly.
Yeah, a great time.
I
I
can't
can't believe it.
Philly, alas.
Well,
that's it. That's the show.
Wait, the Doom mix. The Doom mix is out right now.
Nope, that's the
right?
show.
So,
Doom Mix is out. You should definitely.
Trip.
And there's gonna be a showcase this Saturday as well. It overlaps a little bit with Pacific Summer, but hey, it's got a great lineup.
Can I do one more quick thing?
Please.
So the Doom, Zach just released just announced, which is now fully funded now, which will be on vinyl. The Doom Mix Volume 6, which features myself and Pop Culture and Lyite and Fiber and Skylar Spence and of course Luxury Elite and Dan Mason and Vape Error and Eyeliner and Discoholic. And that is obviously all the songs haven't been released yet, but you can, I guess, purchase it in advance now, and it is fully funded on vinyl. And here is the link for that. That obviously,
thank you.
What the release that a lot of us always look forward to these days. So there you go. I'm honored to be involved in it. I think so, man, and I'm honored to be involved in it.
I mean, you and everybody else on there was a super logical choice.
You wanted to make this one dance, so
run it up, y'all. And definitely check it out when it drops. Thanks for the follow, Commodore 256. PJ, thank you for being our guest tonight. We really enjoyed talking with you.
Thank you so much. Always love talking to you.
We're
such huge fans of you as an artist and as a friend. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Not just a skilled artist, but musician and friend.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you to everyone who tuned in tonight as well. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for keeping us honest. And thank you for the follows. the reposts, the tweets, the promotion, and the donations. Just a friendly reminder, donations are optional, but if you want to follow the link before we close out the show tonight, you are invited. All donations go straight towards equipment upgrades and commissioning dear friends like PJ Rourke, Bianca B. Fanti, and others. Tune in 2 weeks. That would be Monday, August 8 at 9 p.m. Eastern for an episode with our dear friend Be Careful, who is in chat. Great choice, right?
Yeah.
So,
Great choice.
thank you very, very much for your time tonight, y'all. And don't forget, if you like hot takes, invite a friend, post about us, follow us, and we will see you in 2 weeks. Good night.
Bye.
Right.